When my kid was younger, she came home one day and told me when she grows up, she wants to be a unicorn. And I said, that's nice. When I was younger, I was convinced that I was going to play in the NFL. And my dad let me know there was 0% chance in hell that I was ever going to play in the NFL. And I only share that because there are so many things that are happening out there right now that are so insanely off the charts that I felt compelled to make this video. I just saw, actually it was PBD. So Patrick Bet-David on Valuetainment was talking about the Senate staffer who was getting, and I don't really know who my audience is yet. So this is a brand new channel. This is my second video, and I really don't know who this is going to appeal to. But if you are triggered and or sensitive, then you may want to click off now. But these Senate staffers, or a Senate staffer, was getting pounded in the Senate briefing room. We're talking about a sacred place. We're talking about one of the leaders or the leadership community of the United States. We're talking about a place where there is no room for that type of immoral behavior. And what message does this send to the rest of the world? What does Russia, what does Putin think about what a freaking clown show our government is? And yet it seems to be okay. Now, I know the guy got fired, and I know that he put out a statement where, when I read the statement, and I'm not going to read it here, but essentially he blamed us for his immoral behavior. We forced him to act that way. I just don't know what kind of world we live in anymore. And it terrifies me because common sense is not common anymore. In fact, I don't know that it even exists anymore, at least the way it was taught to me. And that's a terrifying proposition. Look, we've got Hunter Biden doing coke, allegedly doing cocaine in the, wherever the hell he's doing it, in the White House. What does this say about our country? What does this say about our leadership? What message does this send not only to our enemies, but to our children? And I've been counseled by lots of people who all tell me, you can't share about any of these things, especially not on social media, especially not on YouTube. And I disagree. I feel I have a moral responsibility to share exactly what's happening, because if I don't, who is? And I know there are some folks that are talking about some things. So the more the merrier, because right now we are at the precipice of going into a very dark place, which is terrifying to me. And so I have a friend, and I'm going to ensure that I protect everybody's anonymity, but they shared an experience with someone in elementary school, young school grade kids, and one of the boys came back to school the next year as a girl. And I have no problem with anybody living the life that they want to. I have no problem with any of that. Fine, that's your choice. An adult makes an adult decision and they understand the consequences or the ramifications. That's fine. Do you boo, live your life, let your freak flag fly, whatever it is. It doesn't impact me in any way, shape, or form. But when it's happening with elementary school kids, it's terrifying to me. What message does that send to the rest of the kids? What message does that send to the rest of the world? And look, I know there's no time machine, and certainly I am not trying to turn into Archie Bunker, and I'm sure I'll be accused of being some kind of crazy boomer, but I feel a responsibility to ensure that I protect my kids from themselves, because they have no experience. They don't understand the ramifications of their choices. And my job as a parent is to protect them and serve them and ensure that they make the best decisions that they possibly can, so they are fully formed to be able to go out there into the real world and survive when I'm dead, and I'm not going to live forever. So it's just, it's a crazy world we live in, and it's insane to me that these things are happening, and it's all over the news. It's all over my news feed, this particular incident. But I kind of feel like it starts very early. It starts at home. One of the things that I take a lot of, what I get a lot of fulfillment and a lot of joy from is coaching my kids in the sports they play and also telling them the truth. So as an example, I coach their soccer team, and it's volunteer. I mean, it does take out it consumes a lot of my time, and I love doing it, but I only know how to coach the way I was coached. I have a rigid boundary around certain things as age appropriate. But anyhow, when I was coaching my kids in their first year of soccer, when they were barely able to kick the ball and had no concept of what soccer was, I would go out there and we would have a tremendous amount of fun. And at that point, it's really not about winning or losing. It really is just getting them out there and acclimated to run around and be in a semi-competitive environment. But when they're that young, it's really like herding cats. There's no strategy. There's really nothing other than run to the ball and kick it. But it's fun, right? So getting their attention, keeping their attention, and keeping your authority and keeping control of this mob of lunatic kids is a priority. And I'll never forget, at one point, I started to get yelled at by one of the parents who wanted to tell me how I should coach. And they were very harsh, and they told me I was too harsh on the children. Now, whether that's true or not is subjective, I guess, but in order to control children at that age, you must have authority. And the last thing I'm going to do is let the inmates run the asylum. And so there were some very rigid boundaries around listening and following instruction. And yet, when I did that, I got chastised by the parents because they seemed to think that their child should be allowed to do whatever they want, whenever they want, however they want. And it didn't matter if they were disruptive or physically attacking other kids in a playful way. There no rules apply to them. And that's bullshit. So I never subscribed to that and never listened to it. And my rebuttal to that was, hey, if you want to coach, feel free. You can come and take my job. It's all yours. And they wanted nothing to do with that. So I'm going to tie that back into right now. The world is in such a strange place that I don't even know where to begin. But common sense, boundaries, authority, doing your best to ensure that your children understand the truth about life, about themselves, about everything is critical. And yet there's so much noise and so much distraction and so much negativity out there. And I hope that I can at some point lean into changing that narrative, because what I see is the opportunity to impact so many different people in a positive way and let them know that the future looks bright, and all of this distraction, all of this noise, all of this negativity, all of this fake news, all of this mind control is bullshit, and we must put on blinders. We must remain focused. We must do the right thing or the next right thing. But we must treat each other with respect and love and support each other through this hard time. And if we all do that, if we do it on a daily basis, if we find a way to be 1% better each and every day and lean into one new person and plant a seed of encouragement in their lives, I suspect we're going to have a hell of a much better life experience and a much better world. But we got to stop banging Senate staffers in the Senate. We got to stop doing cocaine or allowing it to be in the White House. We have to get back to some basic boundaries around what is right, and we must always prioritize the truth.